So, welcome to another episode of Ask Maria Anything. We've got questions flooding in from constituents, so I will do my best to answer them. So, we've had a question, I think, from Rebecca on the allowing of partners into the labour rooms, which is obviously really important. It's a really wonderful time, the birth of your child. Technically, from government, this is allowed, so partners can be present at birth right now, but many hospitals have restricted this because they're worried about the safety of both the partner, but also mum and baby as well, and trying to reduce the number of people in hospital who don't physically have to be there. But the government has allowed it, and so we're working with NHS trusts to try and make sure that partners are allowed into the birth of their children as soon as possible. The Bishopstone Junction is a really controversial issue locally because as residents you know only too well what a dangerous junction it is. We just had another accident just a week or so ago. I'm pushing the county council who reduced the speed limit 2 or 3 years ago now to introduce something like traffic lights or a roundabout. Work was done on some of those plans, so I will be following that up in the next few days and weeks because we need some safety improvements at that junction. So the Lewes-Uckfield line was closed a number of years ago. It would connect obviously Lewes and Uckfield, hence the name, but it would also put towns like Seaford and Newhaven on the main line instead of being on a branch line and having a very poor service. So there's a bid in with government for the Restoring Your Railways Fund, which would reopen the Lewes to Uckfield line, and we have another submission in November, and I'll be meeting with ministers next week to try and push so that I'll be successful in getting funding. It'd be a quick and easy line to reopen. The track is still there, so we are working hard to see if we can get that open. So this is a bill around a number of measures put forward by Extinction Rebellion, and the first two I'm fairly supportive of. Climate change is a really important issue. The bit I have a concern about is the Citizens' Assembly. We already have a Citizens' Assembly which is feeding into government, and only just last week fed in some key recommendations that the government will be working on. The Citizens' Assembly in this bill is to overrule Parliament, and I feel very strongly that Parliament is democratically elected by constituents across the country, and we are answerable to the electorate in a way a Citizens' Assembly wouldn't be. So for that reason I can't support the full bill, but I certainly support the first two aims of the bill, and it's only the Citizens' Assembly that I have concerns about. Absolutely support a ban on animal fur. We already have a limited ban in place, and what we don't have is fur coming from outside of the UK, and so we do need to tighten up the legislation because there are also products that people believe are synthetic fur, which actually turn out to be real fur. So there's some tightening of the legislation we need to do. But absolutely support it. There is no reason why anyone should be wearing fur in this day